Everyone, this is Spencer TCG, and with me I have
Tyler Collier.
this man just top 16'd a 1,000 person One Piece regional. Congratulations.
Thanks.
So, what did you play?
I played Reiju. It's one of the set six leaders, blue purple. Um, I think it's just a really strong deck, similar to like red green law, where you can get a lot of advantage. And even if people know what you might do, they aren't used to it because your plays are so awkward, right? You're tagging on like 2 and a 3 body, 4 cost body, and it's just a really good deck. But it is sometimes inconsistent.
Yeah, the deck looks super fun. Like, how can you not like drawing multiple cards every turn? If I had more practice, I think that's the deck I would have been on too. But anyway, do you want to get into your list?
Yeah, sure. So I've played a lot and I've tried a bunch of different things, and this is what's worked for me best. For Kaya, it's your best 2K to help you not brick. For Sora, Sora is just a staple, searchable 2K. I play 4 of each of like the pink, the blue, and the red rangers. Sometimes I thought about playing 3 blue, but you just want to see them against like Sakazuki when they try and bottom deck them. Um, For double finger, sometimes you ramp with double finger going first to sort of put you back on that the even curve, and then you can judge a turn earlier than you would have. You really only do it against like Mori and Sokka,
Okay.
or if sometimes you draw bad.
Do you ever
Um,
do it in the mirror?
it's really good trigger in the mirror actually, since
Okay.
usually if you can't minus Dawn, this is a good way to do that because you'll trigger it, but you won't ramp back. So you'll just play a body at minus a Dawn, and I've lost 2 mirrors that way. Their first trigger was double finger, and they took a 5K swing.
Oh wow.
it's it's a good card overall.
Okay.
Um, so then, four Reiju is just draw 2 when you have 5 or less, I believe, in hand, and then you have equal to or less Dawn, which is pretty easy for this deck to do. But you do have to manage your resources well in case like you draw a card with a leader, which is mandatory. Then you might go to 6 before you can use this. Blue guy bounces a 4 cost or less, or KOs a 2 or less. Usually bounce a 4 or less. It's really good for bouncing like Kuzan, Porcelain blocker just to get off the board. They never want to play it again. Super strong. For Queen, I've played a list with 3 before and 2 pudding. And in that event, if you don't see pudding on 4 to 6 Dawn, it's generally a bad card. Sometimes it's good on 7 with the blue guy. You bounce another guy to their hand, you put them all back. But Queen just helps you get out of the brick. If you go first on 5 Dawn, you just play him, draw 3 cards. Really helps you filter. Great blocker against yellow and other decks like Whitebeard, some Rogue, where he's just 6K blocker is really good. The 5 cost is really good in the mirror because you can't do anything to 5 cost bodies in the mirror unless they tap them
Mhm.
sideways. And it was just really good for me. Sometimes it's not great against Sokka and Moria because it'll die, but still drew 3 cards and they have to deal with it, or it's a 6K swing. Um, for red guy, this is the ratio I played. 2 alts, 2 regular. I
Gotta
tried to
mix it
get two.
up.
I tried to get 2 more alts at the beginning of the tournament. A guy named Victor Pham. He was like top 4 in Nats this year, and we just couldn't agree on how to pay or the trade, so it didn't
Mhm.
work out. And I just kind of gave up. I was like, this is probably the last event I'm playing Reiju. So
Oh,
it's really hard
sadness.
after EBO1 when they get the new law cards. You get a very hard matchup, like 80-20, I think.
Mm, I see.
And so, anyways, next is Two Judge. He is your boss monster, but you only play him against Law, the Mirror if you go second, and then Sakamoria. You can play him in other matchups. Like he's fine sometimes if you don't have a board and you have a lot of life. Because he just if you tag out correctly for all 3 pairs, he's getting you 16 extra Dawn of characters, which is really nice. So much advantage, so hard for people to deal with. I have 4 events, just consistent. Sometimes you think about cutting one, but it's really good to open because on 1 to 2 Dawn, you're not really doing anything. And then 4 stage, just heart and soul of the deck. You need it to win. Sort of like Kaido, almost your deck goes to like tier 2 if you don't have it. You can sack your way out if you don't have it and play it later, but you really do need it.
Nice, nice. What would you say you're always trying to mulligan for?
My ideal just opener is I go second. If I go second, I can Dawn minus twice to get to judge, or along the way to judge, so that I'll in matchups I want to play him. It's in response to the Moria turn. So
Okay.
like they're 9, they'll play Moria. I'm on 8 because I Dawn minus twice. So I like to open like stage event. Ideally, big red guy since I want him in the trash. I can always pitch him off stage, and he's really threatening play on 4 Dawn because most people are afraid of 7K body just hitting them on turn 2.
Yeah.
So ideally like that. A pair of Reiju is nice if you don't have the stage. Sometimes I'll keep like a vent, like Reiju and a red because the likeliness that I now have a turn 2 play is really high, and the Reiju can help me dig. Um, Usually people want to just mull for stage, but I'm always worried that hey, I'm going to draw a worse hand. I've had hands of big red, judge, and 2Ks, and I'm like, if I don't have Kaya, that is really bad too.
Yeah.
And I've had those hands.
Okay. Do you say you hard cast the bigger guys sometimes, like the Reiju and the Niji?
You will hard cast 4 cost and 5 cost a lot. Like,
Okay.
I always call them blue, red, and Reiju. I don't know why I can't like process it, but
No purple.
you hard cast the blue guy a lot because he's just really strong, and there's always a turn on your curve where you can't Dawn minus because you need to have enough Dawn to threaten lethal in the later game, and to if you play Judge in that matchup, you need more Dawn, right?
Okay.
Reju's just broken Pot of Greed, right? You draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
If you go like, there's turns where I'll go Little Reiju Queen on 7, and I just draw 5 cards, get 2 bodies. It's pretty nice.
Okay. That makes sense. And then have you ever tried playing more than two judge?
Um, my friend in the beginning of the format wanted to play 3, but he also used to play a lot of like Blue Croc, so he likes boss monsters.
Yeah.
An Italian guy, Roberto Rondino, was like, "You're never gonna play more than 2, and you're really never gonna play more than 1." I played 2 like once. It's like just really long soccer games, but 2 is fine. What's hard though is sometimes when you see it early and you're searching, you have to look at it and be like, this is probably the last one I'm gonna see, because he could be
Mm,
stuck in your life and you protect your life a lot, or he could be near the bottom of the deck and now I'm not gonna have access to that.
I see. So it makes it hard if you want to discard it with stage.
If you need another card in that top search, it's really hard. Like
Yeah.
there was a game I had in Osaka where I needed the blue guy because they have Kuzan on board, and if I let Kuzan stick, I lose. And Judge is right there, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna have to go with the blue guy or I lose.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And then no love for the green blocker guy. What about him?
Green blocker would be great if he's stuck on the board. Um,
Yeah. He's just always
because
dead.
of it's like a fourth pair for Judge. So in that matchup where you want to play Judge, it's so hard to get 3 pairs, let alone 4, by the time you want to play him. Um, Yellow has a really easy time of resting him with Amaru, and then Sokka and Moria just minus it by 2 and take it away, and now it's gone. So in the matchups that I want it, which is Yellow, they rest it or they blow it up, and then Sokka Moria, they just bottom deck or blow it up before I get to block with it. So
Yeah. Okay. That makes. Yeah. Seems rough to play
he just
then.
never lives long enough. Sometimes Cosette is fine. People like the 1 cost blocker, especially if you don't want to buy Queens. Queen's pretty expensive
Yeah. Yeah. I don't own
because it's
them.
only 1 Dawn, right? You didn't pay too much. If it dies, it dies.
Okay. I think last question is like Sora is an interesting card because it's a 2K, but also can get you back stuff. Like how often are you actually summoning Sora?
So because Sora can add the red guy back, and you'll run out of red guys eventually, it's always your last 2K you want to ditch because for 5 Dawn you're still rushing 7K body, which is really good, assuming you have both red guys in the trash. But yeah, it's really good. I usually play it every couple games or so. But if I'm rolling, I don't need to play it. I'm just gonna have the card anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, awesome. Do you want to talk about some of your matchups?
Yeah, sure. So my matchups in order were like Moria, Yamato, Reiju Mirror. I barely win that, and he goes on to be 9-1. So great tiebreaker for me.
Yeah.
Um, Round 4, I play Akata. His first 2 life triggers that he doesn't look at because he plays Peros on 3 and then passes is I swing 5, it's Peros Pero. I swing 7 with the red guys, my only play, and it's Satori.
Hmm.
So now his 5 Dawn turn is Peros Peros Satori and he plays another Pero, and I'm like, oh, dude, this is really bad. I didn't have stage that game, and I ended up losing on the last turn to a Beige trigger. I think he knew
Mm,
he had it, but I'd rather lose to Beige than reject because I think he had 2 7 moms, and I just have blocker, a life, and not much counter.
okay.
So that was my round four. I think that guy got 65th. He lost the last round.
Oh,
Um, Still decent 7-3 tiebreaker for me.
yeah.
Round six, I play Moria, or five, I play Moria. I coast. He doesn't play Moria on curve. Um, Round six, I play Moria. It's my, I guess, third Moria at this point. Um, I've never drawn that bad with this deck before. I only got a blue pair the whole game. I didn't see big Reiju, big red, event, stage, queen, judge. That's like 22 cards in my deck that would have helped me a lot because I even got to like 9, 10 dawn, and I have all three pairs in the, or all three little ones in the grave. And he's like, oh, if you had judged, it would have sucked. Well, I didn't have it. I think my curve was just blue guy, and I tried to swing for game into 2 life and like a 7 card hand. And at the end, he was like, yeah, 3 2Ks. Not even close.
Wow.
Uh, that guy actually went on to go X1 as well. So another really good tiebreaker for me.
Yeah, you had some tough matches.
And I'm looking at it like I'm pretty upset. I just lost because I couldn't play. And I have to win 4 in a row to maybe get into 32. And so I keep playing. I play Akata. It's pretty standard matchup for me if I draw playable. Another Yamato. It's always weird if they're Fortress or aggro. I swing, he guards with the yellow card. It was like Neko Mamashi. And I'm like, okay, it's not Fortress, so I can play differently. Um, Win that. Round nine, it is Sakazuki, a guy named Warren Zhang. He's a pretty good player from California. He has like a second place and a couple other tops. And I played the red guy on not 4 5, and he took like 2 swings early. So I'm like, okay, I don't have a judge. I had to bottom deck him for the blue guy, and I'm just gonna be aggro and see how it goes. And he had to kill me. I had 3 life and like a ton of counter in hand. He has to try and kill me because he no longer has defense, and get the win pretty easy. He was pretty upset because he lost round 8 and 9 to go X3. It feels kind of bad to
Mm,
kind of see your run crumble. Round 10, I play Akata. I open stage, event, queen. I don't know if it's stage actually. I opened like a Reiju or something, but the event got me stage on the 5th card, and I was like, "Oh, dude, thank you." And game's close. He sees like a Peros trigger, a Brule, 2 Beiges. But since I had the 2 queen, or I got a queen, I went Reiju queen, and the next turn I go Reiju because I have 3 more queen in the deck, and I draw another one. So I just kind of checkmate him. I have 2 queens, like 7 cards in hand, a life to just his 10 mom, pudding, and leader, and he's top decking, so he has no cards in hand.
yeah.
And I'm like, you just literally can't kill me. And sure enough, he couldn't. I get 22nd in Swiss, the same placing I got the other weekend online, 8-2, because I had 2 9-1 tiebreakers. I play Akata day 2. Um, he's the higher seed, makes me go second. I don't see stage, or I do see stage game 1, but I whiff the top 5 event. It was like event 4 2Ks, and I lose a card.
Mm,
He has perfect curve. It's like putting Peros 7 mom, 7 mom. Um, really strong. He hits Paris Trigger, another body like Satori, I think. I have to go for game on the final turn. He knew he had an Amaru, but I hit a Brule and Amaru, and I lose to the Brule. Um, Tough game. Game two, he makes me go. No, I go second. I'm like, I'm not gonna get baited into going first. Um, I bottom deck all 4 queens. So I'm like, oh, this sucks.
yeah.
I'm gonna have to try and kill him, or I'm gonna die. And I thought I lost, honestly. And it gets down to I'm swinging at him to put him on lethal next turn. And his last 2 takes he does that turn is Sanji Satori. So now his board is Sanji Satori, 7 mom, 2 puddings, and leader. And I have 2 life, uh, some amount of counter in hand. But it gets down to he swings 7 Sanji, I block. 7 Satori, I block. And then I forget the order he does with leader and 7 mom, but I have to take because I have 2 1Ks and a stage in hand. That's all my hand. And I have to get counter out of life. I get a 1K. He looks at the next one. I get a 1K. and he goes double Amaru on the pudding. I thought it was going to be like 6, 7K, and it's 8K, and I have exactly 4 1Ks.
Nice.
Move on to game three. He's like, whatever, I'm going second. He has his third game of, putting Peros. This one was Gadatsu, 7 mom, 10 mom. So
Wow.
great curve for him. He got to pop my Reiju on 6. Um, I got to my queen, so I'm feeling a little more stable, and he has to go for game. And when he does it, he went like, I think he rejected my last life, or either I didn't have a life. Oh no, he plays a 7 mom, so I can heal him to 3, or I take my last life because I have enough guard with queen in my counters. It goes 12K with mom, I block with queen. He goes 7 with leader, I guard. He goes Maru 11 with 7 mom, and I have the counter. So I live. He doesn't have a trigger in his last life, and I get to attack for game.
Nice.
Close game. Um, and then top cut, I play top 16. I play on stream, and I lose 2 really close games. More fun to watch the stream. I think it was Play TCG Arena on Twitch, and then I lose game 1 by 1 card because he sees his full curve into 2 Rebecca blockers. He didn't know any of them.
Hmm.
Rebecca's really good in the Reiju because I can't deal with blockers very well, and you get like a 2K.
Yes,
It's
so much
pretty nice.
value.
Um, and I was about 3 or 4K counter short, regardless of like the play I did the final turn, because he had 2 blockers to my 2 swings. Game 2, we both draw kind of bad. His opener was apparently 3 Houndblaze, 2 Virgo, but your Sakazuki, you keep like cycling, cycling, cycling. My opener was 2 events, the red guy, the little red guy, and 2 double fingers. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna get a pair or stage. In my top 10, I got neither of those. I got a Reiju and a Judge, I think. Basically, my top 15 is no stage, no pair, which is pretty unfortunate.
Yeah.
My curve ends up being double finger, queen, queen, which is pretty terrible by all means. I end up losing on the final turn after I judge by 2K counter. He Houndblaze, so it was
Mm.
like even harder, and I got I think 2 1Ks from life. He went for game with like Borsellino, Moria, Lucci. It was like he had a good board, so I should die, but it was close. Not meant to be. I lose my 10 grand money match.
Sadness, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy when you start competing for all that money in just one game.
yeah, it is crazy. But I was happy to get my invite. That's what I said. I was saying to my friends before the tournament. I was like, I'm gonna get my invite. We think it's top 16, and they said it was 32. So congrats, everyone made 32. Um, and then there was like a meme. I won my only other Top Cut tournament, and we're like, dude, I'm undefeated in Top Cut, but I don't want to say that like out loud. And I'm no longer undefeated in Top Cut.
Oh, but we still have a good record at Top Cut, so it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's like 5-1.
Yeah, well, that's awesome.
It's respectable.
Yeah, I think so. I think you did a great job. Um, well, thank you so much for sharing all that. Do you have any like advice for all those Reiju players out there who went 3-7 and how to maybe like improve their game? Maybe something they're overlooking that you could think of?
So a lot of this deck, like the final turns, whether it feels easy or difficult, is like the culmination of your decisions across the game. So like, let's say you event on turn 1 and you see the big red guy and you're like, oh great, I'm gonna take him. Does he create a matching pair in your hand? Would stage be better here? Would a 2K be better if like it's Yamato, right? It's like a lot of little decisions that add up to making those final turns easier and almost checkmating your opponent. Because I had about like I would say at least 7 of my games that I got to play in Swiss where it was just like, oh, my opponent has no chance to beat me on the final turn. It is not that close. They can try and swing for game, but I'll have like 5 2Ks in my 8 card hand. Um, it's pretty much trying to build your Dawn up while making your board wide and like controlling that board. And if they're a threatening deck like Katakuri, where they're going to burn your life, they're going to reject you, you have to leverage that by still trying to kill them while winning the board. So usually every final turn, unless it's Sakazuki, I'll have like 2 of these 4 cost Reiju, a 7 cost, a blue, and a queen. So I'll just have like a full board. six, 7 card hand, 1 or 2 life. Really just not under threat. They'll have like maybe one big body depending on the matchup. Sakazuki will have like the little weenies and a Moria. Because I can't really trade with Moria. He's too chunky.
He's just too big.
They made him the best card in the set, and they made him 9K too.
Yeah.
So good. Yeah, pretty much just think about your plays and what's your plan for the curve, right? Not just your plan for right there. And you're taking like probability when it's like how likely am I to see another one of these? If I play 4 of it, it's pretty likely. But if I play 2 like Judge when I need him, it's unlikely I'll see another one.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. And then you were talking about how this deck is kind of scary going into EBO1, but maybe someone really still wants to play Reiju. Do you have any like thoughts about cards they could add maybe to help them fight the law decks out there?
So I think Reiju is still actually fine into EBO1. You don't get any more support, but Red Purple Law, which will be more frequent, still has a hard time in the meta because Sakazuki is so strong.
Okay.
It can do better into other decks like Moria, Katakuri, but basically, as I think it's the Singapore players or Team Sifu King guys, they're pretty popular. They said Reiju is like the third best deck in the format in set 7, but you lose completely to Red Purple Law and Black Yellow Luffy,
Mm,
which they're about to be very prominent. And if I run into 2 in those in an event, that's almost like 2 auto losses, which based on the other rounds, it's really hard to do well. I ran one event like that. I played Red Green Law into the when Red Purple Law came out, and I played 2 of the 5% of the tournament, and it was just a free win. I couldn't play.
yeah, one of my AZ local friends was playing Reiju in round 1, plays against Law, gets destroyed. Round 2 plays the mirror, loses the die roll, gets destroyed. So, and then just leaves. So,
That round I bricked into Moria, there was a guy next to me. It was Reiju and Red Purple Law, and I was like, I think I would have had a better shot into Law.
yeah,
But the way I drew it, it didn't matter. I bricked so bad. I still can't get over that. I've never got to 10 Dawn in that deck until then. And then my top 32, I'd never whiffed the event. And like I've played 150 or 200 games of Reiju, and I've never got in that bad of a spot.
that's crazy. Yeah, no, my round 1 was against Yamato, and I never activated Mori ability once the entire game, but I did win. So that was an accomplishment. Check off the box.
Dude, the games can be weird, but you can still win. That's what I kind of like. As long as you can play the game, you can win the game, right?
Yeah,
Whereas other games I've played, sometimes if you don't open what you need in the opening hand, you lost like
it's just doomed.
outright.
It's just doomed. Yeah. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add and share with everyone?
Uh, Not much really. Shout outs to the people I tested with, talked with. I think it's like Ren, Clarence, Carrar, Grayson, and Mangley. His name's like Zach Veal, but just goes by Mangley.
Mankley. Okay.
Yeah, he has his top list is Blue Croc and Green Uda. He's a man among men.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's the only Uda top 8 so far in North America.
Oh wow. All right. Well, that's a good testing partner to have.
Yeah, it's funny. We've never actually tested. We just talk. But
Oh, well,
at a certain point,
sometimes.
theory is so helpful
Yeah,
if
I
you've played
agree.
like a lot of card games. Because if you have the right game plan, you'll just start doing better.
Yeah. Yep, 100%. I I like the theory talks. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing and coming on the channel. And are you going to any regionals soon where we can look forward to seeing you win?
I have 3 events lined up. It's like the May 4th online, which is still this format, but we have the Luffy starters. May 11th online, but we have EPO 1, so it changes again. And then June 22nd, I think it's like a Mesquite, Texas event. It's like near Dallas, but we
Okay.
have the bands and we don't have set 7. It's like the weekend set 7 comes out, but it's not legal.
Oh, that's
So it's a
interesting.
very
It's like
very
its
weird
own
format.
own format for a week.
Yeah, so I have 3 individual formats to prepare for.
Oh
I
boy.
kind of know this one, but with the Luffy starter, it makes this deck a little harder to play.
Okay. Okay. Well, again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and peace.